Let's do another vlog, another update. I think the fish are for real gonna spawn tonight. Yesterday, it was like they spawned, but it was like a fake spawn. Sorry for all the background noise. I'm recording outside and it's hella windy out here today. This morning, right after breakfast, I got straight into my lab work, getting everything organized. Being organized is a really key skill to have in this type of work that I do specifically. Labeling literally took up my whole morning, and it sounds so boring, but it's a really key part of science. But after that very long labeling session, I had to go outside, take a little break before going to help out with this education program that actually happens on the island. After the live stream though, I quickly got some lunch and then I had a little bit of time, so I wanted to go out and do a dive. Drove to our dive site and then got suited up to get ready for the dive. And this was a really cool dive actually. I saw a decent amount of stuff just on like this one dive. Once we got out of the water, it was a rush to get back because a group of us were signed up to show our faces to this event happening at a hotel at the island, basically where we can talk about some of the research that's happening with the project. So quickly got changed and showered really quick. I look crazy because I didn't have time to like wash or do anything with my hair. So this is like how we're coming out. Did that, and then when I got back to the lab, the dive group that had gone out actually collected some fertilized eggs, which is really cool for the work that I do because I actually analyze those fertilized eggs and look at how climate change could impact them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the check-in. Make sure you're following along so you can see day 4 and what else I do on this trip. So I'm kind of excited to see how that turns out tonight. I feel way more prepared than I did yesterday, so I am perfectly okay if they want to spawn tonight, unlike yesterday. Day 4 of field work. Today is going to be a chill morning slash afternoon. Yesterday the fish spawned for the first time. That means tonight they're really going to spawn, and all of the samples I'm collecting are really coming from this event, which means a busy, hectic, crazy night for me. So I'm enjoying this last few hours of peace. First, drove over to the boats to pick up some seawater collected from the last dive that I can use in my lab. Then took a nice long walk on the beach, chilled out on the beach for a while, enjoyed that last bit of sunlight, then headed over to the boat to pick up stuff from the next dive and ran into a bunch of these iguanas. These iguanas are so cute. There's a bunch around the island, but these are like the native ones to this like restaurant that we always walk through. After helping out at the boat, we went to the store just to pick up some small things because a lot of the stuff we ordered online did not come in on time. This is the one and only store of the island, and I'll tell you why I'll never shop here. Things are expensive. Literally, this one box of Ritz was like $10.99, and CI, which in US dollars is even more expensive. This Dove soap was also quite expensive. Anyway, that was like my last little bit of peace until we went back to the dock to pick up the samples they collected during the dive, brought them back to the lab, sorted out what was fertilized, what wasn't, and got them ready for the experiment. Basically, I'm mirroring these fertilized eggs in 4 different temperature treatments. The first 2 being like current variability, the last 2 being elevated temperatures but expected, and we're really just trying to see what the impacts of climate change or increasing temperatures are on early life history stages of this fish species. Eventually everything got set up and now I'm tired, but I will be up literally all night long doing this for the next week. Follow for the next few days to see what I'm doing next. So I don't even know what day it is, and that's like one thing in field work, like the days start to blend together. Like you're up all day and night long going like with all of the people that you work with. It's just like a weird experience. I don't know what day it is anymore. Like I'm just like waking up every day realizing I still have a few more days to be here. Yesterday I was doing science. Like this experiment is in full force and I need to figure out a better way to balance some protecting my peace time and science time, because yesterday was like full out science and I had no time to myself, which I feel like in the long run just did not like allow me to have a great day like I should have. And today I'm making sure to be more intentional about like finding that good balance. Like I'm going on this walk this morning, got my coffee, just kind of like chilling at the beach for a little bit before I get into like the thick of things. I have a list in my head of things I know I need to get done today before we do sampling tonight. So try to work away at that, get as much help as possible. Yeah, that's another tip for myself. Stop being afraid to ask for help. Like, people here are really like willing to help you. People throughout science are really willing to help you. Don't be afraid to ask. If they're not trying to help you, that's on them. That's not on you. Anyway, we'll let you know what happens next week. I feel like it's almost the end of the week and this vlog's about to end. I don't know. Is it Wednesday or Thursday? I have not been recording like I wanted to, so I don't have enough content to show a day in the life for every day that I've been out here. So this is a combination of probably the past like 4 or 5 days in the field. Most of my time was honestly spent in the lab. If you don't remember, I'm basically raising fertilized eggs and larvae from Nassau grouper at different temperature treatments to see the impacts of climate change on the species at early life history stages. If you're not familiar with field work or field lab setups, it can get very interesting and very DIY almost. Not like the traditional lab you're gonna see at a university or some science facility. In situations like this where a huge space is just rented out and we just clear out one of the rooms and basically turn it into a lab. We set up different tubs which served as aquarium tanks, and in each tub fertilized eggs and larvae were raised to see potential impacts of increasing temperature. So I spent a lot of time just making observations on these larvae, making sure the aquarium setups were fine, temperatures remained constant, etc. And when I finally felt comfortable enough to kind of leave the lab, I would use that free time to go out on the beach or go diving or snorkeling. This project is pretty intense because these fish only spawn once a year and it literally only happens for like 3 days. So my entire master's thesis and potentially PhD is reliant on 1 week out of the year. So I am very high strung and very anxious about making sure everything about this experiment goes right and nothing goes wrong. Field work has been crazy. Like literally, I'm just like so tired. We're somewhat starting to slow down, which is nice, and it gives me the chance to actually enjoy the island, go out diving, go snorkeling, do some other stuff. So I'm really excited for that. But yeah, we're just chilling. This is my favorite part of the trip because it's like, I mean, it's still super sciencey, but it's not as like intense, which is nice. This experience made it really intense. So it's great that I get to be a part of it and like learn from it and now become a better scientist from getting these experiences. But I'm excited for my chill days to come. Obviously deal with my samples, like that's a given, but I got through a lot of them this morning, which is nice. Good plan for the day. About to do a boat dive. I'm very excited to see what we actually see. I'm really hoping I get at least a turtle. I haven't seen a turtle once on this trip yet. And a few more sharks. Like I haven't really seen, everyone else has because they've been diving more than I have, but I've only seen like maybe like 2 sharks this whole trip, so putting that on the list. Let's go diving. Today I'm doing a couple of boat dives and I'll just show you some stuff from my first dive on this boat. I love boat dives, but I prefer to do shore dives because you can see so much of more of a transition between very shallow areas to much deeper depths. So we'll see what I can find here. First ran into this barracuda. Barracudas are literally the scariest looking fish to me. I don't know why. I'm not scared of many things in the ocean, but a barracuda for some reason just freaks me out when I see it. Then we moved over to the wall. Bloody Bay Wall is a very famous dive site and one of the best in the world where you can see so many different things. Here I saw this black durgon, a spiny lobster, and a bunch of other reef fish. And of course I ended the dive seeing Nassau grouper, which is the fish that I study. It turns out I actually did get to see a turtle. I actually saw a few turtles on this dive. This is just one that I got a really good video of. And I saw a couple of sharks as well. This was probably the best shark video I got on the dive. So next time I'm gonna ask for something more extravagant. I was very excited to see both of the things that I asked for, which usually does not happen. Hey vlog, it's the last day of field work officially. We just got packed and like got everything together because a lot of our flights are super early in the morning. And just like it was coming here, going back is equally, if not more complicated. To get from Little Cayman to Grand, you can only fly Cayman Airways. So we're doing that on the earliest flight. We have so many bags that we're worried that they're not all gonna make it on the flight we're taking. So we're trying to drop bags off early. Actually, we're not on the earliest flight. We're dropping our bags off at the earliest flight, hoping they make it to Grand first. And then we're taking the next flight, hoping that our bags make it with us. But we do have a like 4-hour layover in Grand, so that will hopefully give us enough time for our bags to get there. And then, I'm sorry, this view is just so beautiful. Like, I'm taking it all in. It's my last day. I'm sorry. um, but yeah, so like hopefully we get to Grand, get all of our stuff. Then we're flying another airline, I think Delta to Atlanta, Atlanta to Seattle, and then Seattle to Portland. And don't ask me why this flight is like this. I didn't book it. It's just with the school or my PI booked. So this is what we're doing. It's my last day of field work, and this whole day is really just a travel day. I'm rushing to quickly pack the rest of the things I didn't get to last night. And I just remembered that I left my water bottle probably on one of the boats. So I'm running over to the dock to go get that. Finally got my water bottle back. And then we're heading to the airport. I don't think I gave y'all a tour of the airport on this tiny island. It's very small. It's really just like one room and the outdoors. You really don't need to show up that early, but we had to because we had so many bags. Once that was sorted, I ran over to the store to get some patties because I didn't eat any breakfast. And then it was time to hop on our flight. Once again, the flight was very complicated and long and inconvenient, but we flew from Little to Grand Cayman. Eventually left Grand to go to Atlanta. Stayed in Atlanta for a couple of hours before we took a flight to Seattle, and then was in Seattle for a bunch of hours before we finally got back to Portland and drove back to campus.